So my fourth discovery or thesis statement or conclusion during these explorations is that neurobiological wiring, or the structures throughout our brain and body system, can be understood through an organization of social engagement and disengagement roles. So basically you can think of like implicit memory data being stored in relation to attachment systems that consequentially or subsequently affects brain-body modalities of operation, engagement, and regulation. And that reality can then be understood through different social engagement and disengagement roles. We have emotional intimacy, physical health, emotional health, mutual support, cooperation, casual friendships, rest and restitution, and parent-child bonding from the perspective of the child, and parent-child bonding from the perspective of the parent or the caregiver. And then those are social engagement roles, and this is referring to the PolyVagal theory in particular. And then we have social disengagement roles, and that's where you get different kinds of stress responses within our nervous system that affect all kinds of internal operations. Social disengagement roles include the attach or cry for help stress response, as the social engagement system gradually shifts from socially engaged to socially disengaged, shifting from regulation to a stress response. After the cry for help or attach stress response in the social disengagement roles, then there's the flight stress response, the fight stress response, the freeze stress response, the fold stress response, and the blackout stress response, which is basically a combination of different stress responses where conscious presence is completely inaccessible. And to express these ideas, I've created the spectrum of traumatic response, which you can find out more about in the description of this video. And so there's all these different social engagement and disengagement roles, and neural wiring can be understood in relation to these specific roles as implicit memories provide unconscious navigation regarding self and life in relation to attachment well-being, and the activation of this neural data affects how our brain and our body are regulating itself within the unconsciousness, how blood is flowing, how different regions of the brain are lighting up and talking with one another. All of that has to do with the activation of this neural wiring, and it can be understood through this construct of social engagement and disengagement roles. The neurobiological organization of the social engagement system especially seems to be rooted in the brainstem, where implicit memories interact with cranial nerves, affecting everything from facial features to decision-making tendencies and abilities. We can explore the neuroscience of psychology in this way. So we've got memories where experiential elements are gathered during each nanosecond of our unfolding life, even when we're a very young child and things are being processed implicitly, and even during very seemingly insignificant moments, like where you're standing in a line at a grocery store or you're falling asleep at night. Every nanosecond of our experience is gathering experiential elements from inner and outer realities. So thoughts, feelings, sensations, sights, sounds, tastes, textures, all kinds of different types of stimulus, internal and external. Stimulus ranges along a vibrational spectrum of explicit and implicit stimulus. And so all these experiential elements are being gathered during every nanosecond of life, translated into memories, and this provides navigation through unfolding moments regarding our identity and experience. That our memories are what translate every second of experience. Memories are processed in relation to attachment well-being, And then this information, this neural wiring, affects integrated patterns of the brain and regulatory protocols of the body. So experiential elements processed into this brain-body system, and that affects our navigation within the unconscious mind and regulation within the unconscious body. And then this further complexity stems in here. Every portion of neural wiring is affiliated with a distinct role within the neurobiological social engagement system. Here's where stuff gets super cool. Depending on the role that the neural wiring is affiliated with, it will unconsciously carry different styles of priorities. This is where the neuroscience of psychology can be explored in deep, dynamic, detailed depth. So let's say that there's a portion of neural wiring and it's affiliated with the role of emotional intimacy within the neurobiological social engagement system. The way that this neural wiring generates information is going to be very, very, very different from neural wiring affiliated with the social disengagement role of a fight stress response, just as one of infinite examples. And as this neural wiring is providing information, it's affecting brainwave regulation of every nervous system, central, somatic, enteric, autonomic. It's affecting hormones and neurotransmitters. It's affecting everything, muscular engagement, facial features, the way that the body naturally poses itself, the way that the spine is when it sits and stands, the way that the head naturally sits on the neck. Literally everything within the unconscious body-mind that contributes to our experience of being a person shifts unconsciously in relation to the neural wiring of the neurobiologic social engagement system, the way the heart beats, the way the blood flows, all of it. And so if you're on a walk, for example, and you unconsciously absorb stimulus of another person who you happen to find attractive, okay, in that moment, neural wiring affiliated with emotional and or physical intimacy is likely to ignite and engage unconsciously. And then that neural data is contributing to automated translations of reality. And then you're like, oh my God, they're so cute. And then your hormones start to change, and your neurotransmitters start to change, and the way that your brain waves are fluctuating changes, and the way that your physical posture changes, and your unconscious body-mind is saying, okay, how can I make myself seem more attractive so I can catch this person's attention? But it's all unconscious, and so there's all these very subtle shifts in the way that the body is navigating identity and reality, and it happens completely, profoundly unconsciously. At most, the conscious self might notice a feeling or might notice a thought. But meanwhile, there are literally hundreds, if not thousands, of unconscious occurrences responding to the absorption of that stimulus. And you might have the conscious thought or a feeling, but you have no idea that it happened because a vibrational signal of a light wave carrying the conceptualization of this other human being was absorbed by the body, flowing through all of these complex unconscious processes, activated implicit neural wiring affiliated with emotional and or physical intimacy within the neurobiological social engagement system, and then neural wiring sculpted through past experiences over the past 20 years or however long it's been since you've been alive and that role started developing, is projecting implicit information, different types of sensations, and all kinds of unconscious, implicit, energetic data based on abstract associations within the sculpting of memories from past experiential elements. And that's projecting information unconsciously that subconscious parts first-handedly experience, even though the conscious self has no idea about it. And the activation of that neural wiring is adjusting the flow, energetic flow of all brain-body activity and the entire manner in which the whole body-mind is navigating itself shifts, and you don't know about any of that. You don't know about any of that consciously. The conscious self might just notice, ooh, I feel butterflies in my stomach. That person's kind of cute. But you have no idea about all of these hidden realities unfolding beyond awareness. But that's where all the secrets lie. To understanding ourselves, reclaiming our power, and transforming any and all elements of personal experience from the inside out. So then you keep walking down the street and you see another person, and the unconscious body-mind activates a fight stress response. What happens is the unconscious body-mind absorbs this vibrational signal. You see someone, that information is absorbed here, it travels through, it's activating all kinds of things that are stored everywhere throughout the ganglia of the body and all kinds of hidden places in the miraculous brain that this consciousness flows through. And it's associated somehow, that person has some abstract association that links with a fight stress response or a social disengagement role of the fight stress response. And then that implicit neural wiring is activated and it projects information and interpretations of reality. And then you might start feeling a little bit uneasy or a little bit irritable or a little bit paranoid, but you don't know why. Okay, and then that implicit activation adjusts the regulation of all brain-body activity, and then your nervous system starts to dysregulate, and then your hormones start to activate stress chemicals, and then there's all these different neurophysiological processes, and you have absolutely no idea about any of it within your conscious awareness. At most, you're up here and you're like, oh, I feel a little uneasy, but you don't know why. It's because a vibrational signal came in and activated implicit neural wiring affiliated with past moments where there wasn't a felt sense of safety, and it engages a fight stress response, and it creates all these different types of thoughts and feelings, and it activates all kinds of different bodily responses, but all of that occurs beyond awareness. And it has to do with the way that implicit neural wiring carries priorities in affiliation with the neurobiological social engagement system. The first example, you see someone and you think they're cute or whatever, okay? You see someone and you find them attractive. In that moment, implicit neural wiring isn't like, oh my God, I need to make sure I'm safe right now. No, that's not a priority in the moment. The priority in that moment is, I need to find me an attractive mate. And that priority unconsciously is affecting how implicit wiring is projecting automated interpretations of reality. But then you keep walking down the street and you have that second occurrence that unconsciously activates the fight stress response as a neurobiological social disengagement role. And in that moment, the unconscious body does not care about finding a mate. Instead, the priority is safety. I need to make sure I'm safe right now. And so each role within the neurobiological social engagement system carries a different type of priority. And depending on the priority affiliated with the role, implicit neural wiring, carrying memories of past experiential elements that help to navigate identity and experience, and carrying all these protocols regarding brain-body activity and regulation and integrative patterns, all of that has their own energetic vibrations regarding how they provide navigation and regulation and how they process and interpret each unfolding moment of reality. So we can really understand the dynamic, detailed depth of how this neural wiring is organized by looking at how the neurobiological social engagement system has different roles carrying different priorities and are each connected with different regions of neural wiring carrying memories regarding navigation and protocols regarding regulation. And different activations of this data based on the absorption of various vibrational signals are what generate unique styles of personal realities, because our personal experiences only ever come from within our neurobiological applications of consciousness. Only ever. And that's why 1,000 people can be at the exact same moment of experience in the exact same place, but they're all having a different experience, personal experience with that moment, because the moment is being translated through neural wiring, and that's what's generating the sense of personal reality. So within the neurobiological social engagement, there's all these roles carrying different priorities connected with neural wiring, carrying memories and regulatory protocols, and this is where we get personal experience. Part of my theory with this is that every type of thought, feeling, sensation, action pattern, etc. can be traced back to specific regions of neural wiring connected with these different roles carrying distinct styles of priorities. So for example, feeling an urgency to call someone might stem from an attach or cry for help stress response of a social disengagement role. Feeling defensive or irritable or agitated might come from a fight stress response. Feeling hyperactive or restless or impulsive or feeling the need to be elsewhere, feeling slightly manic might come from a flight stress response. Feeling frozen and stuck or unable to move forward or feeling like you're a fly on the wall and you don't totally exist might come from a freeze stress response. Feeling depressed or fatigued might come from a fold stress response. Feeling sleepy and calm and relaxed and like you kind of just want to go take a nap might come from the rest and restitution role within the social engagement system. Crushing on someone and feeling butterflies and just emotional whirlwinds might come from the emotional intimacy role within the social engagement system. Feeling sexually turned on by someone might come from the physical intimacy role within the neurobiological social engagement system. When you feel nurturing towards someone, your voice might even shift to a higher octave and you're talking like it's, oh my goodness, like it's a cute little baby or it's a cute little baby animal. That might come from the parent-child bonding from the perspective of the parent or the caregiver role. Feeling the need to ask permission because you don't know what's allowed or feeling like it's not appropriate to assert yourself might come from the parent-child bonding from the perspective of the child role within the neurobiological social engagement system. Enjoying exercise and feeling like you just want to go for a run or you just want to find a new way to go work out. That idea, those thoughts, those feelings, those sensations, those action patterns might stem from the neural wiring affiliated with the physical well-being role within the neurobiological social engagement system. The big part of this concept is that each role within the neurobiological social engagement system carries distinct styles of agendas or unconscious priorities. And that energetic info within the brain-body blueprint affects how experiential elements are processed and translated into memories, how memories unconsciously navigate identity and experience, and how those regions of neural wiring unconsciously affect brain-body regulation. This neural wiring, organized through various social engagement and disengagement roles, basically explains the neuroscience of psychology. It explains our sense of self and our processing of life experience and various styles of intrapersonal and interpersonal interactions and relationships. The way we instinctively understand who we are, the way we instinctively understand the world around us, and the way we unconsciously comprehend and engage with how this self interacts with this world completely stems from the activation of neural wiring, which is organized in this very complex, miraculous system of social engagement and disengagement roles, as implicit neural wiring affiliated with the well-being of attachments connects with different styles of brain-body regulations and operations.